I owned 7 drones before I got the DJI AIR 2S, and all of them were great. Even with the older ones, I had a lot of fun learning how to fly them, and especially with the newer ones, I enjoyed the amazing shots I got. But with every drone until now, there were always some limitations that kinda broke the deal. Yes, sometimes I was a limitation. Overall, it comes down to video quality versus portability. There are great drones like the first Mavic Pro, the first 2 Mavic Airs and the Mavic Minis, which have a compact size, but the video quality is not quite there. Don't get me wrong, the quality especially of the Air 2 is already on a pretty good level, but it is a bit too sharp and the HDR mode didn't allow for manual exposure. The footage is also just 8-bit, what makes color grading a bit difficult sometimes, but I will come to that later. Then you have other drones like the Phantom 4 Pro and the Mavic 2 Pro, which have great looking video overall, but with a pretty big body for the Phantom and the Mavic 2 with soft 4K and a body that could still be a bit smaller, there's still some room for improvement, at least for a travel videographer like myself. And there's also the DJI FPV drone, which is definitely the most fun to fly, but even if its shots are cool, you can't often get the shots you need to tell your story easily. And it takes up a lot of space in your bag, which is why I would not recommend it as your only drone. So the perfect drone hasn't really been there for me until the DJI AIR 2S came out, but what makes it so special? Now, the most important aspect for me is the size. The Mavic 2 Pro took a whole compartment in my Peak Design bag, which is not bad overall, but the Air 2 and Air 2S only take 2/3 what allows me to fit a camera lens in it. That makes changing lenses a bit quicker, as I can put all my normal camera stuff on one side of my bag, so it's well sorted and I find everything easily. I also do a lot of proximity flying to show motion and to make boring shots more engaging, and for that my drone can't be small enough, because the bigger the drone, the harder it gets to fly through tight spaces, obviously.
Yo. You're so lucky, man. So
I flew it into the tree without crashing and it actually looks like I wanted to do it. That was a happy one. Oh, and DJI, please give us the option to turn off the bottom sensors of this drone, because that would have prevented my first crash and it would make some fly-throughs possible that I'm not right now, like the one where I crashed. But let's talk about the video quality. As mentioned, the Air 2 already had a decent quality, but it was only 8-bit, while the Air 2S offers 10-bit recording. The difference between 8 and 10-bit is not visible straight out of camera, but if you want to color grade your videos, you will notice it quickly. Especially 8-bit drone footage can easily show banding in the sky, and it's also more likely to get color artifacts. That's because 10-bit has 4 times the color information of 8-bit. That sounds a bit complicated, but you can imagine that like stairs. If you have a stair made of 4 stair steps, each stair step is 4 times as big as if you have 16 stair steps over the same length. That's what you see as banding in the skies. You see steps instead of a smooth gradient. So 10-bit makes the overall workflow a lot easier and quicker, as you don't have to mess around with these issues. Both Air 2 drones also offer a higher bitrate and better compression with HEVC, what makes footage with a lot of motion look more detailed. In addition to that, the Air 2S offers a 1-inch sensor, what causes less noise in the shadows as smaller sensors. Of course, it's not magic, there's still a bit of noise sometimes, but during the color grade it usually disappears. However, especially if you shoot in a bit darker environment and you get noticeable noise, I recommend an app called Neat Video, which easily removes all the noise without visibly losing detail. I already used Neat Video for a few years in version 4, which I paid the full price for, but they recently gave me the new version 5 for free to test it on my M1 Max, and I'm very happy with this version as it's even faster. So Neat Video was definitely one of the best investments I've ever made, because it fixed so many clips that would usually not be usable anymore because of noise and also color artifacts, etc. And even if it's not super cheap, it's definitely cheaper as buying a better camera. So definitely consider Neat Video, I will leave a link to it in the description below. Quality-wise, it's also great that the Air 2S has 5.4K resolution, because I prefer to crop in the edit and not already while I'm filming. Additionally, 5.4K means that I get a full sensor readout instead of lower quality 4K as on the Mavic 2 Pro. Okay, that sounds pretty good, but maybe you ask yourself the question now if there are any downsides on this drone, and yes, there are some issues, but they are very minor. And to be honest, the only issue I found is that it doesn't have aperture control, which is not a big issue as it comes with ND filters, but aperture control would make it possible to do small adjustments on the go, what would be really nice. So overall, the DJI AIR 2S is the 95% perfect drone for me. However, if you're a total beginner when it comes to drones, I would suggest starting with the DJI Mini 2 because it's a lot cheaper, so you lose less money if you crash it, and the video quality is definitely good enough to get started. It's also super portable and you have less legal issues in some countries due to its light weight. But if you're looking for a portable yet more professional drone, the DJI AIR 2S is definitely the one to get. So that's it here. I hope this video was helpful. If yes, then leave me a thumbs up, and also don't forget to hit the subscribe and the bell notifications button for upcoming reviews and videography tutorials. Hope to see you next week.